What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today we have the Broken Masquerade from the Exploring series. So yeah, we continue our SCP Journey with this video. I have a few announcements to make just before this video starts, so please listen to them because they affect the future of this channel and stuff like that. It's very important that you listen to these announcements. First and foremost, I want to talk about the upload schedule going forward. Obviously, I've been uploading daily for a while. That might change dependent on the length of the videos I have to watch from now on, because a lot of the video suggestions and SCPs I have here are quite long videos, 20 minute plus. So, you know, when a video is like 20 minutes, you can safely assume the reaction will be about half an hour. So that would take quite a lot of work every single day to put out a half an hour video. And I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys want to watch a half an hour video every single day. You guys have to let me know on that one. I try my best, but you know, you got to keep some free time. I can't be literally grinding all day every day with YouTube. It is a grind, trust me. I've burnt out before. Also, one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but obviously when I applied for monetization last month, because when you hit 1,000 subs, you can apply for monetization, YouTube said no. Hopefully when I reapply in a few days, because the reapply date is coming up, they do monetize me, because if they don't, we're going to be in a very sticky situation over here. And I mean very sticky situation, because if I can't make, I know it won't be a lot of money. I'm not a fool, but it will be enough money to help me continue and keep improving, and you know, not have to go out and doing another different job at the same time. You know what I mean? You know, that will definitely, if I have to go out and find something else to do to bring in some money, I'll have to put YouTube more to the side, and you guys obviously understand that. So I'll have to move it to the side, which means videos frequency will drop. It will have to drop in that situation. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully YouTube monetizes me. You know, I hope, because they weren't very clear on why they didn't monetize me. And when I tried to reach out, the only thing you can do is tweet their goddamn YouTube Twitter account, and they just say, well, you can wait 30 days. We can't. If they keep putting me through that cycle of waiting 30 days, then man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Obviously there's some other measures we could take, like I could make a Patreon and whatever, but I don't like asking people for money. The only way I would ever make a Patreon, and I've addressed this before, is if I had no other option, right? And right now that is not the case, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. Hopefully YouTube monetizes me and we won't have to deal with any of that. So yeah, I just want to say one thing regarding video suggestions. And this is specifically with the Broken Masquerade video, because there's one guy. So there's one guy who kept suggesting this video on multiple different videos. Like, I just want to say, guys, please do not suggest the same video all the time. Like, it's not gonna make your video increase in standings, because as you guys know, if a video is highly requested, I will watch it, but that's by multiple people, not by one moron writing it on all the videos. I'm not stupid. I can see your username, okay? I know that it's you requesting it, so please don't do that. Please don't spam suggestions. If I don't watch your video or don't even acknowledge your suggestion, one, I don't acknowledge it probably because I've seen it, I've made a mental note, or I've put it in my watch later, and if other people suggest it, it will obviously be watched a lot quicker. If other people don't suggest it, I usually go with the one that's most popular. So keep that in mind, and please don't spam suggestions, please. Like, it really annoys me. And in future, if you're gonna spam a suggestion and I see it like 5, 6, 7 times, bro, you're gonna get blocked. Okay? Let me just make that very clear. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna get into this video, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, please don't spam. Just don't. It really annoys me, okay? I read a lot of comments, and when I read one guy writing the same thing multiple times, it annoys me, alright? So don't do that.
The Broken Masquerade. Securing, containing, and protecting are the 3 steadfast goals of the SCP Foundation. Most of the topics we've been looking at have focused on a setting in which the Foundation have succeeded in these goals. Sure, there are always incidents.
Wait, the Broken Masquerade. I was so caught up in my announcement things that I didn't even comment on it. I can't remember. Is the Lazy Masquerade a thing? Was that the SCP-001 proposal, or was this the SCP-001 proposal? I can't remember.
Containment breaches or sudden appearances of anomalies in public places. But overall, the Foundation maintains a veil of secrecy from the wide world. But what would happen if they failed in that goal? That's the concept behind the Broken Masquerade canon, a timeline in which the Foundation finally fails to contain awareness of anomalies, and the entire world becomes far more acquainted with them. This generally is not seen as the primary canon state of the SCP universe.
Damn right.
There is such a thing. But it is a very interesting what-if scenario.
No, I get it, because they're masquerading there. The masquerade is they're not showing people, they're not telling people about the SCPs, and now the masquerade has been broken because everyone knows.
Much of the Broken Masquerade canon takes place in the form of tales, but there are a few SCPs written with that canon in mind as well. There are thousands of ways that the world could become aware of anomalies on a scale that the Foundation couldn't prevent. But in the case of the Broken Masquerade canon, things culminate with an event in North Korea. In short, North Korea suddenly and instantaneously disappears, with nothing left but a giant hole.
Yep, somebody told me about that part.
Hurricanes were reported in the region, but really it was just air and water suddenly rushing in to fill the gap. Immediately afterwards, the Global Occult Coalition comes into the light, as the world learns that they are a secret paranormal group funded by the United Nations. The GOC announced that another organization called the SCP Foundation are responsible for the disappearance of North Korea. The United Nations and the GOC demand that the leaders of the SCP Foundation be brought in for a trial by the International Court.
Talk about throwing under the bus, eh? Jesus.
Instead, the Foundation hijacked television broadcasts across the world and release a message, saying that they are indeed responsible for the disappearance. They claim that the country is only spatially displaced somewhere else. Unfortunately, they're not sure if the civilians survived the displacement or not. Apparently, the Foundation and the GOC were working to prevent some sort of world-ending scenario, which they did, but North Korea got lost in the process. The Broken Masquerade really occurred when large swaths of Foundation files were leaked across the internet, with...
Is it not handy that North Korea is the country that was lost, though? I mean, a lot of people would say they're the main threat, you know what I mean? So, isn't that a bit convenient? I mean, if the GOC is involved, I wouldn't count anything out, to be honest.
The Foundation apparently unable to prevent or contain it. After this, the doors to the Anomalies have been blown open, with journalists and investigators around the world poking their noses into the GOC, the Foundation, the Serpent's Hand, and practically every other paranatural group out there. Massive relief efforts...
Well, the Serpent's Hand were very secretive. Yo, journalists, man. Some journalists really need to chill. Honestly, they really do. Like, some of the things... literally, people just write for clicks these days. I don't want to run about people writing for clicks, but... just be wary with information that you read, because some people, man, I swear, some journalists have no concept of personal space either. You know what I mean? I feel bad for certain celebrities that literally get tailed by journalists wherever they go. Or, I mean, would you count the paparazzi as journalists? Technically, they are journalists, right? So yeah, I mean, some journalists need to chill out a little bit for sure.
Are made in the area around where North Korea used to be, with countless bodies being found in the ocean.
Bodied.
Conspiracy theorists around the world go wild as they learn that all of their wildest beliefs were pretty much true. And
not all of them. Vaccines still work.
The SCP Foundation still continues their work, of course, as the Broken Masquerade really only entails one of their primary goals failing. There are plenty of anomalies that still need to be contained, but now the Foundation does not need to concern themselves with keeping their existence away from public eyes.
Yeah, this is when we start getting protests. Release the anomalies. Release the outside the Foundation sites. You already know there's one moron protesting to release 106 and kill us all, you know?
Reports of various anomalies begin to be published in newspapers, and some non-dangerous SCPs are removed from SCP custody after various governments get involved.
Oh, here we go.
The mother of SCP-2118, a young girl who spontaneously begins speaking in the voice of a deceased child when in the presence of a parent who lost said child, writes a letter to the Foundation. 2118's parents apparently lost one of their children, and 2118 would regularly mimic the final words and sounds of the child, causing friction in the family, until 2118 was taken in by the Foundation. Now, her mother hopes to regain custody of the girl after believing her to be dead all these years. But she has to go through a mountain of paperwork. SCP-682 was apparently shown on TV, and a young boy writes a letter to the Lizard, as his teacher instructed him to write a letter to his hero.
What?
He claims that other kids think the
My
lizard
man.
is scary, but not him.
My man. That kid needs to be psych-evaluated, bro. Like, the lizard is my hero. The lizard is your hero. Dude, I know a lot of kids like dinosaurs. I was one of those dinosaur nerds. But this guy, this is not one that you want to be friends with, big fella. He'll eat you. He'll eat you. In terms of never meet your heroes, this is prime example. You don't want to meet him.
He thinks that if they met, they would be best friends.
No, you'd be lizard food.
SCP-2991, a sapient animate scarf created by an employee of Dr. Wondertainment, was taken by the Foundation from an apartment while the tenant was away. The creator writes a letter to the Foundation saying that he's always suspected the Foundation was responsible, but he just wants Scarf back now. He says that Scarf must be so scared, and he'll tell the Foundation everything about Scarf if they just safely return it to him. He says he's coming to get Scarf either way, and they cannot stop him.
Okay, buddy.
People of all sorts.
You know what's funny? Who the hell has a scarf and they call the scarf the magical scarf? Like, huh? Why don't you give it a cool name? Why are you calling your scarf? I mean, it's practical, but it's a bit odd. You know what I mean? I was gonna say, I wonder if the scarf is like Doctor Strange's cape and it can like do all kinds of cool shit. But
begin to pry into the SCP Foundation's business. Many of them discovering things they'd probably rather not know about.
Correct.
The Foundation's Ethics Committee is brought under heavy scrutiny by the United Nations.
What about
before
the GOC?
realizing that perhaps it's best the Foundation keeps operating as it has been.
Correct.
Both the Russians and the Americans become very interested in weaponizing some of the anomalies known to the Foundation, notably SCP-610, the flesh that hates, despite accords being written up to prevent this practice.
Morons, honestly. I don't understand this innate need to build weapons out of everything. Like, no. Just leave it be. You don't wanna mess up. Like, that's the big danger. Don't experiment with things you can't control, dude.
The massive leak of Foundation information didn't just reach the general public, obviously, but also every other anomalous group of interest.
Great.
Groups such as the Sarkic cults, the Church of the Broken God, the Chaos Insurgency, and so on, gain intimate knowledge of thousands of SCPs and begin a new spree of raids. It was a trying time for the Foundation and the world in general, and things could have very easily collapsed in on themselves. But the world kept going. In time, the anomalous became commonplace, to a degree. The Foundation still worked to contain the really dangerous stuff, but safer anomalies began to become integrated with modern society. Groups such as Marshall, Carter, and Dark boomed in business, selling all sorts of safer anomalies, such as paranatural pet dogs that can fly or change colors.
No thanks.
The Foundation used these safe anomalies to help their public image, as videos of cute anomalous pets begin trending worldwide, none of which would have been possible if not for the SCP Foundation. Or so they would say. The Foundation even went as far as releasing public relation videos directed at teenagers, filled with outdated references and memes. There were plenty of scams as well, both from governments and corporations. Some governments and officials would claim certain disasters to be anomalous, so that the Foundation would clean it up for them. With some going so far as to try and make a scene look paranormal. Shady organizations would sell off all sorts of products and services, claiming them to be genuine anomalies, looking to make a quick buck off some gullible suckers. Anomalous foods also become popular.
Well, there's a lot of gullible suckers. Let's be honest. There just is. People don't think before they do, you know what I mean? You know, there's a great rule that people say, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And you should probably use that thinking, you know? You should be a little skeptical, you know?
Such as the Ambrose restaurant chain that serves all manner of paranatural food, like Kraken caviar or Siberian firebird.
I swear there is no... Is there a Kraken? I'd be very interested to watch the Kraken one video, of course. What was I going to say? At least they're not using that cannibalistic dinner set to serve, so yeah.
On the more dangerous side of anomalous food is SCP-3739, Mind Milk. A cognito hazard that anomalously creates mind milk products around the world, and infects people's brains, causing them to develop milk curdle. Of course,
I don't even
activists
like
come
milk.
out of the woodworks in droves, screaming for the rights of
What did I
both
say?
anomalies and humans,
What?
such as D-Class. Some of this
You know what I don't understand about protesters, especially in this day and age. There's a lot of protesters in this day and age that could be doing something so much better with their time. A lot of the time they're protesting silly things too. Like, just go and do something productive. Why are you wasting your time doing something pointless? Obviously there's certain protests that are effective, but most of them are just over silly things. Like, don't waste your time, ladies and gentlemen, doing stuff like that, okay?
This activism was based on facts. Much of it was based on emotions directed
Exactly.
against the Foundation.
Yes. I was about to say, most people that are protesting are very misinformed. If you ever watch those guys go to the protest and quiz the protesters, they never know what the hell they're doing. You know, and why they're there. They don't even know why they're there. They're just there. You know?
The Foundation could make various government officials and international judges see the purpose of their containment efforts and testing. It was a much harder task to convince the public. The Foundation was generally seen as a mysterious, secretive organization, operating with immunity from the laws of the world. And while information about the numerous examples of the Foundation protecting the world from ending was leaked, much of the public would still only focus on how cavalier the Foundation is with human lives. Some reports begin to spread of the Foundation containing anti-Foundation activists and reporting them as anomalies, although it's hard to say if that's factual or not. These reports are
That'd be
muddled by
hilarious. That would be so funny. Could you imagine if, like, there's just some protesters and the Foundation just decide to release a cheeky SCP that might just decimate them. Maybe just accidentally unlock Kate Abel's containment, you know?
the existence of SCP-4427, an anomaly that cropped up in the wake of the Broken Masquerade and randomly causes certain individuals to manifest paranormal traits, generally uncontrollable reality bending.
Ooh.
I'm going to leave things off here, as at this point I think you should be pretty clear on what the Broken Masquerade entails.
Yes.
Obviously, this was just a summary of bits and pieces from a number of different articles, but overall the Broken Masquerade canon has a lot of room to grow. It's certainly a very interesting timeline, since the Foundation no longer has to worry about one aspect of their goals, but the loss of anonymity invites new problems as well. Some might scoff at the idea that the Foundation couldn't contain an incident such as the disappearance of North Korea, considering the power at their disposal, but it leads to an interesting story regardless.
Yeah, that is a sticky one.
Much of the SCP universe is predicated on the idea that there are many things in existence man was not meant to know. But, in time, you can probably get used to anything.
I was gonna say, I mean, the Foundation have contained much bigger things than North Korea disappearing. Would people even notice North Korea's gone? It's so closed off. Maybe the closed countries like China and South Korea, but I don't know about anyone else. Are you saying, Dr. Clef, that these people deserve to die? He probably is, let's be honest. Is this meant to be him on Oprah? Come on, man. What am I reading, boys? Not at all Oprah. I'm saying that at the time, we had no other choice if we wanted to understand how the device worked. Through that understanding, we were able to hide the object from public and preserve more people's lives than were lost. The good of the many, Dr. Clef. The good of the many, Oprah. I mean, that just sounds like some Tao stuff right there. And now the veil of secrecy has been lifted. We do things differently, but we still have to do things. Have to study. But why, Doctor? Korea. A lot of people let their emotions get in the way of facts. You know what I mean? Just the way it is. I don't particularly like this canon. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of don't believe it. I think it's a bit... Obviously, it's all to do. You can believe it if you want. You don't have to believe it. It's the SCP Foundation, of course. Everything is in your head. But with this one, I don't particularly like it just for the fact, one, it makes weird, doesn't really make sense that Korea just disappeared and now everyone noticed. Because if you watch any other SCPs, you're like, bro, how has no one noticed this before? Like, there's a lot of other things that are a lot more noticeable, I think. Or that you would have at least noticed. Although a lot of SCPs come off as urban legends, you know what I mean? That, you know, they could be real. Are they real? Are they not? This one, obviously, I think you might notice North Korea's disappeared. But then again, I think the SCP Foundation, if they can contain all of the other things, they could probably contain that one. In terms of what would happen if this was actually the case, I feel like the SCP Foundation were kind of thrown under the bus by the GOC. I feel like I feel like not only the SCP Foundation, but all the other ones would also be pretty investigated. You know what I mean? I feel like the GOC obviously are an extension of the UN or whatever they said, right? So maybe not, but the Chaos Insurgency, all those guys, they would definitely have some investigations done into them too, for sure. And yeah, there would definitely be a lot of morons protesting on the street to release certain SCPs. Obviously, there'd probably be some justice for the murderers and rapists we sacrifice. I mean, at least that's what I think the D classes are. They're usually taken from prisons, so yeah, it'll be very interesting. I don't particularly like this theory, but I mean, there's a lot of people that probably do. But yeah, that's the end of this video, man. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.